Good afternoon, seventh hour. Obviously, I am not here today. I ended up having to take off early today for a basketball game down in Marshall. I still want to kind of get through some stuff. So, what we're going to do is we're going to finish notes really quickly today. So, if you want to take out that S note sheet from yesterday that I gave you, we're going to get through notes and then we are going to do a little project with a partner. Okay. Few things. Some of the video links I'm not able to show on this recording, so I've attached them online. I would like you to stop this recording when I mention that here coming up and watch the example that I give and then continue and kind of watch the example, continue notes, watch the example. All right. So yesterday, if you remember, we talked about four things that influence your opinion. We talked about differences between, or two differences between two forms of propaganda, revealed and concealed. Today, we're going to focus on the sixth type of propaganda methods, and then we are going to look at and find video examples for each one of those methods, right? Just a quick little review here. Yesterday, we talked about opinion and public opinion. Opinion, your point of view on something. When we talk about public opinion, it's the view of the majority of people in our country around an issue, whatever that issue is. Okay. Talked about who influences your opinions. We talked about friends. We talked about family. We talked about teachers. Then we talked about mass media influencing your opinion. Here, you look at this little graph over here on the right. It kind of shows social media. It shows mass media and individual media. And basically, think about all the medias that you are exposed to on a daily basis. All right. Social media, news media, commercials, stuff like that. They all influence your opinions. We talked about some examples of mass media: books, magazines, newspapers, films, radio, television, internet. Okay, that's kind of the big one, especially nowadays when you talk about all the TikTok videos, all the Snapchat videos, all the YouTube videos, all the Facebook stuff that's out there. All that stuff, guys, influences us either subconsciously or we're aware of it. All right. We talked about propaganda, what that is. Propaganda is the use of ideas to try to influence your opinions about certain things. Okay. And to be an effective citizen, we discussed how we need to be able to discern between fact and fiction, or fact and opinion as well. All right. Just really quick, we talked about concealed propaganda and then revealed propaganda. Big thing here, guys, concealed propaganda, two parts. Number one, concealed propaganda does not always tell you the truth. Many times facts, maybe there's a little bit of fact sprinkled in there, but there's not everything's true. Number one. And number two, and this is a big one, when it comes to concealed propaganda, we really don't know who's trying to influence you. There's nothing out there saying or identifying the people behind the curtain, if you will, that's trying to influence you. We really don't know the true motive behind concealed propaganda. Compared with revealed propaganda, we know someone's trying to influence us and we know who that somebody is. Looking at this little campaign poster, it says paid for by citizens of Eisenhower, for Eisenhower. So we know that Eisenhower's campaign was trying to influence us. Whereas the video up above, we have no idea who really put that out there and what their motive is behind that. Right. The big thing that we want to discuss today, guys, is this. There are different techniques that politicians, companies, individuals use to try to influence us and what we think about something, what we're going to do, what we're going to buy, stuff like that. I'll give you a great example. When I was younger, I had a girlfriend, and my girlfriend and I took a trip to California to meet her family, some extended family. When I got down there, um, I met her uncle, and her uncle was in advertising. And basically, what her uncle told me was kind of describe what he did for a job, and he basically made videos. He helped with campaign ads, but a lot of commercial stuff. And he was telling me how Burger King, he was working on a Burger King commercial at the time, and they were a little bit behind production because they had to hire an artist to basically make a clay sculpture of a Whopper. And the idea was that they wanted that Whopper that they were making to look just perfect. The bread had to look great, the meat had to look great, just the right amount of fat, glistening in certain spots, the lettuce, the tomato, the onions, all had to look perfect. And he even was telling me that they will go so far as to using certain shades of certain colors because research show that those colors entice people to buy a product more often than another shade of a color. The point is, guys, that people that make the commercials, the people that run the campaigns that we kind of see and that we live through, we experience, or we observe, they are There's a lot of stuff going on in the background trying to influence us to do certain things, to buy certain stuff, to vote certain ways, right? And so there's different techniques that are used, and this is like a multi-billion-dollar industry trying to influence us and our opinions and what we do with our money, basically, okay? And so those individuals, when they're doing this, they use different techniques, all right, to try to get us to do whatever it is they want us to do. Okay, so we're going to talk about those techniques really quick here. The first technique is what we call endorsement technique. Okay, and the endorsement technique is when you basically use famous people to promote ideas and products. So think about the last 48 hours, the TV that you watch, or the ads you've seen on Facebook or Snapchat. Okay, are there famous people that they've hired to say, buy this product, I use this product is awesome. All right. If that's the case, you are looking at an endorsement technique being used. They're trying to influence you, okay, with the influence of famous individuals, sports stars, musicians, actors, so on and so forth. Right. Um, right here we see a State Farm commercial, okay, and you see Chris Paul there, okay. There's State Farm hired Chris Paul to come in and be part of this advertisement because they said or they thought that Chris Paul could influence people to buy a certain product or to do a certain thing, or in this case, to use State Farm insurance. All right. At this time, guys, you're going to see that link there for LeBron James. I posted that link um, elsewhere on Schoology. I want you right now to hit pause on this and go and watch that LeBron James ad. But just know that that LeBron James ad is an example of an endorsement technique. Right. The second type of technique uses what we call the bandwagon technique. Okay, and this technique basically goes like this. You should do something because everyone else is doing it, everyone else is wearing it, everyone else is buying it. Okay? I told Second Hour Day a story. When I was a kid, one of the cool things to do, like all the celebrities are doing it, you saw it on TV all the time. People would take their pants, kind of fold it over and roll it up. Okay, it's kind of like the early version of skinny jeans, if you will. So as a little seventh grader, I'm walking around and I'm like, well, everybody's doing it. Everybody in my school was doing this. Everybody was rolling up their pants. So, well, I don't want to be the one out of the crowd, so I did it as well. Okay, and if you were to see me right now with my pants rolled up, you would look at me and say, boy, you look like an idiot. Okay. And the truth is, I did. But I was doing that because everybody else was doing it, everybody else was wearing it. Okay. Today, Nike is probably the greatest example of this. Their slogan is just do it. Just buy Nike because everyone else is doing it. Okay. At this time, guys, I'm going to have this bandwagon ad number one that I want you to watch. It's a commercial of Michael Jordan, kind of going through his life, and I want you to notice at the end of the commercial what the slogan is at the bottom there. All right, hope you enjoyed that commercial. The third technique that we want to talk about is the name calling technique. Okay, we see this a lot with politicians, especially during campaign season. The last month or so, we saw tons of commercials that were kind of going after people, using names, using unpleasant labels or descriptions meant to harm a person, harm a group, product, or idea. Now, were all those names that are used true? Probably not. Okay, more than likely they were not true. But this technique, if somebody hears something enough, they're going to start to say, you know what, maybe that's true. Maybe that is the case. I'm going to believe that. All right. I've put here two name calling ads, and I'll put them both out there for you. Just so we're clear, I'm not being politically biased. So one is attacking Trump, one is attacking Biden. But these are from the 2020 election. So why don't you go ahead and watch those right now? And as you watch them, I want you to recognize what are some of the names being used to try to influence us towards those politicians. The fourth technique is what we call glittering generalities. This is when you use words that spark positive images or thoughts, but that don't really have any meaning. Okay. You see politicians do this a lot when they're giving campaign speeches. They stand up there and say, we need to protect our country. We need to encourage patriotism. Okay. The economy is growing. They use words like that, patriotism, growing. Okay. Really, when you listen to what they're saying, though, those words kind of fall flat or they don't have any substance behind them. So when we talk about glittering generalities, we're talking about using words that really sound really good and entice or bring up these positive feelings or thoughts, but really don't have a lot of substance behind them. I've added an ad from an Old Spice commercial that I want you to add right now that kind of has a lot of imagery and a lot of words that really don't have any meaning behind them, right? So as you watch, I kind of notice how it jumps from one word or one image to another image. The fifth propaganda technique is what we call plain folk appeal. This is when you try to appeal to the common man. This is what you see a lot with politicians. Politicians use this a lot when they're running because they want to come across as somebody that relates with the average American. The 2012 election saw Mitt Romney run against Barack Obama. Mitt Romney was a very, very extremely wealthy individual. And one of the things that Obama's campaign did is they attacked him as being out of touch. He's too rich. He doesn't relate to the common man. So Mitt Romney, in response, they ran a few commercials, a few ads that tried to show Mitt Romney as just a plain old person, just a plain common folk individual, just like you and I. He goes home at night. He wants to sit on the couch. He wants to sit on the table and talk with family and have family meals, right? And so this technique's used to try to get or try to appeal to the common man and say, I'm one of you. All right, I've added that ad there if you want to go watch that really quick on Mitt Romney's 2012 campaign. And then the last technique that's used is what we call card stacking. Card stacking is when you use facts that only support one side of an issue or a product instead of being fair and balanced in presentation and kind of giving the good and the bad. All right. I've added a commercial here, a Verizon commercial, and as you watch it, I want you to notice how Verizon just says everything good about them. They don't give you any of the bad stuff about Verizon, but then they say everything bad about their competitors, and they give nothing of the good, really. Right? That's an example of a card stacking. You're kind of stacking all the cards of fact in quotation marks on one side, but you're leaving out kind of the negative side of that. So go ahead and watch that card stacking ad really quick. All right, guys, just really quick. Yesterday we talked about opinions and public opinion. Politicians, companies, what they do is they run or they pay for public opinion polls to be done. These are surveys to find out what people think about specific issues. All right. And so if I'm a politician and I say, well, I'm thinking I want to run, how do I relate with the public or the common individual? You would probably hire a company to go and conduct a public opinion poll. You want to find out what do people think about specific issues. And then once you find out, you're going to set your campaign messaging up around those issues and issues that you're strong in that you relate with, you believe in, that are in line with those public opinion polls. You're going to talk a lot about that. And if your issues or your beliefs are kind of opposite of what the public opinion thinks, you're maybe going to try to minimize that part or even change that. Okay. In order to do that, public opinion companies or that run these polls, they get sample groups. Okay. And a sample group is a small portion of the public is used to gather the information. A few examples of this. If Mr. Meisner wanted to right now get a feel for what the seniors think in this school, how the school year is going, he's probably not going to meet with every senior one-on-one, but he probably would pull about 10 or 15 seniors, get a sample group that kind of fits what the senior class looks like, and ask them, kind of get a feel for what that small portion of the class looks like. So you're going to get half the group will be girls, half will be boys. Okay, you'll get some athletes, you'll get some people that are in music, you'll get some people that aren't in anything, get some people, you just get a sample group that kind of fits all these different demographics. Right? When about 3 months ago, I got a phone call, and it was from one of these companies. They wanted to get my opinions on stuff. So I answer the phone call, and they basically say, hey, we just want to we're conducting a poll, we want to get your opinions. I answer the questions, so on and so forth. Okay, I was part of their sample group. They wanted to understand, what do white males in their 30s from rural areas think? I was one of the people they used to kind of get a feel for what they think about that. All right. Hey guys, I appreciate you listening to this. Hopefully you got your notes done. Right now we are going to go on and work on our propaganda techniques assignment. So there's another video I want you to watch describing that really quick, and then you guys are going to work on that with a partner today for the rest of the class. All right, thanks a lot. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.